Everybody's kind of the same. You know, they're like this aggressive, super confident. I hate to use this term, but it's almost like bully somebody into making a decision.
Let me ask you a question. And then they start asking the bulldoze everybody over here. Most mortgage loan officers, they're not making any money. A lot of them are out of the business yet. You're crushing it.
Yeah, 2008, when people were, jumping out of windows, dude, I was jumping up and down for joy. We had leads coming. I mean, I've had the privilege at this point to work with Frederick Eklund, Josh Flagg from $1 Million Listing. I knew David Goggins and worked with him before he had Instagram. I knew Ed Milet. Yeah. Now I own my own lending company. And then I own my own software company. I would try to get better leads for myself than the company provided me.
Yeah, because the more leads you have, the less desperate you are.
You can be the greatest salesperson in the world, but if you don't got anybody to talk to, you're going to have skinny kids.
One of the probably most important things that you'll need to learn as an entrepreneur or any type of salesperson selling anything is... All right, Jeremy Miter. All right, welcome to our Tuesday Live. So every Tuesday we go live unless... I'm on a surgery table, on a plane to wherever I'm going. We always go live or doing something. We always go live every Tuesday with a subject matter training every week, week on week for the last 3.5 years. Now we're going live on StreamYard. So we're going live in our Facebook group, Sales Revolution. There's 120 some thousand of you running around in that Facebook group. That thing's growing fast. We're going live in our Facebook business page, about 180,000 of you on that sucker. Going live here on our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and my personal Facebook. Now, if you're brand new, you just start to follow me. You're like, who the hell is this guy in the Hugo Boss shirts? Jeremy Miter, founder of 7th Level. We are a sales training organization that trains salespeople exactly like you watching me here. So we train sales professionals like you. We train sales executives, sales management, sales leadership, coaches, consultants, home services, doesn't matter, entrepreneurs, business owners, and we train you how to use techniques that work with human behavior rather than work against it, okay? Some of those techniques we call NEPQ, neuro-emotional persuasion questioning. So we have to train you the right questions to ask at the right time, but also with the right tone. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. All right. So if you're brand new over here, make sure, here's what I'm going to have you do. If you're on the live right now, go, because I know you're there, go down to the bottom of your phone on the comments, whatever channel you're on. And I want you to post hashtag live. So go down to the comments. I'm going to have you post hashtag live. And if you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. So if you're on the live right now, post hashtag live. If you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. I better see a bunch of hashtag lives. We've got answers from Geneson. We've got Samantha. We got a bunch of Facebook users. StreamYard doesn't show me what your names are if you're coming on Facebook, YouTube. Tommy Lee, Samantha. All right. A bunch of you. Josh, Terry. All right. So if you're on the replay, post hashtag replay. Now I'm also going to have, because I got a very unique and special guest that I'm going to be interviewing for you today. He might even be willing to answer some of your questions that you have about sales and marketing, because who I'm going to interview today, this man is known as one of the best marketers in the world. And I'm dead serious when I say that. Okay. Not many people get that title, known as. So we're going to ask him some questions about how to generate your own leads. So if you're a salesperson, how do you even generate your own leads rather than just relying on your company's leads or cold calling all the time? That actually sets you apart from other salespeople in your company and in your industry, where you just rise to the top and everybody gets pretty damn jealous because they don't know what you're doing that's putting you head and shoulders above them. So very special guest I'm about to bring out. Now, it depends on you. So I better see, I want you to smash the heart button. I want you to smash the like button. I better see hundreds of smashed hearts. And I better see hundreds of smashed likes if I'm going to get him out of this waiting room, pull him up here, and go over and give you some golden nuggets on how you can generate your own leads. And he might even answer questions. So I want you to smash the heart button, smash the like button. Like I said, I better see hundreds of smashed hearts and hundreds of smashed likes if I'm going to bring him out here, because you know what? He's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. I can go out and golf here. It's nice today. It's like 72 degrees here in Scottsdale. I got the I got the PGA Tour golf tournament. Well, I got the tournament over here, the Waste Management Classic. I can look at the 17th hole right over here where I'm at. I just go out there and start golfing. This guy's pretty busy too. All right. Now, post marketing in the chat if you want me to bring out this marketing legend to help you market and learn how to generate some of your own leads. I want you to type marketing in the chat. Let's see how many of you want me to bring him out here. The more I see, the more I'm going to bring him out quicker. I better see a ton. Marketing, you better start throwing him down there. This guy's busy. I'm busy. I better see marketing. All right, we're starting to come here. All right. Should we bring him out? All right, here he is. Mr. Stewman, Ryan Stewman, what's going on over there in Texas?
Man, well, definitely not the Waste Management Open. Was that your house on the intro?
That was my house a while ago. Yeah, for sure. I had to downsize, man. You start a company, you got to sell all your assets. What's going on? People think you make $100 billion a year. Sometimes you don't do that the first couple of years, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you probably did, especially if your new place is sitting on the Waste Management golf course. There's nothing wrong with that.
This is our company offices right here. It's the Waste Management the golf location just right over there. You can kind of see it over you can see it over the hill. That's where they play the Waste Management Tour every first part of February. You ever come out for that?
Yes, I've never been there for that, but I'm familiar. Like I said, my wife's from Scottsdale, so I spend a good amount of time there.
Yeah, that's
I also got to clear this up.
Okay, what's going on?
We've been hanging out for a minute, and I thought you just had the title boss on your shirts. I didn't realize this was Hugo Boss. I just thought you were the boss, and so you just had boss on your shirts.
Dude, that would be the most egotistical, like douchebag move for me to put boss. No, it's Hugo Boss. It's a clothing brand. Come on.
Oh, so I was thinking about doing that. I was going to get boss written on my janitor uniforms. You know what I'm saying? Man. So
hey, you know, if other people think that, I'm gonna have to get rid of I might have to go Nike. I've got a bunch of Nike 7-level polos. I might have to go Nike there. Okay, so Ryan, in case like somebody's been living in a cave for the past like 7, 8, 9, 10 years, give us a little bit of your background. And, you know, because I know you're still in sales, right? You got a company, but everybody's in sales if you have a company. But how you got started in sales, and kind of give us a little bit of an overview before we start giving them some of the juice.
Well, my first like successful sales job was in mortgages. And I actually was recruited from a car wash of all places. I'm just washing cars. And one day a lady's like, you know, you work really hard at washing cars. If you will come do sales for on my mortgage company, I'll train you how to do it. You can make millions of dollars. And within a year, I'd made $700,000. So she was pretty close to being right.
A little bit more than car washes, you know, washing cars.
Yeah, I went from $30,000 a year to about $30,000 a month, and then $100,000 a month pretty quick.
Yeah.
And this was 2004, so this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And in 2005, made about almost $800,000. And in 2007, this lady passed away. Okay. 2008, I got a job for a different mortgage company, and when I worked for the first lady, you know, it was like you go out and you go recruit real estate agents, and I knock doors, and people, like I would go and drive through a nice neighborhood, and people that had for sale signs in their yard, I'd go up and knock on their door and ask them if they were going to use a bank, which is preposterous to think about these days, but that was how we did business before the internet, you know. And I went to work for this place called TexasLending.com in 2008.
Okay.
And when I went into my cubicle, because we all start from the bottom, no matter how good we are, and I went into my cubicle and I sat down, and within about 10 minutes of my first, like after training and everything, day on the job, they sent me 6 leads from the internet, like name, email address, phone number. And I thought, holy cow, like, wait, you guys just send me people to talk to?
These people are interested, maybe?
Dude, yeah. Instead of me trying to knock on doors and go meet complete strangers, these are people who are like, hey, I'd like a mortgage. It was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And I realized that, you know, as I was a good salesperson, and I was a decent marketer in the sense of knocking on doors and going and visiting random real estate offices.
Sure.
But man, when I realized when I got an opportunity to marry the two, my income exploded exponentially, because now I could spend my time talking to people as opposed to going and getting people, right? Because like before, you're knocking doors, you leave the office, you're not doing loans, you're out there trying to find loans. Now I got loans coming to me. I can make even more money, even on a smaller margin, right? Like the ladies company, Monica, I was making 70%. At Texas Lending, I was making 48%, but yet I made more money.
Yeah.
And so
out cold calling, the leads were coming to you. That makes sense. Yeah.
The other sales guys, they were just taking leads and doing their thing. And I wanted to learn how they got the leads. So I went and made friends with the media buyer. I went and made friends with the marketing team. So while everybody else was going and having drinks with other loan officers and stuff, I was hanging out with the media. But like, how do you do this? How do you run a TV commercial? What makes a good flyer convert and all of these things?
Yeah,
right?
That's smart. Yeah.
And so, because in case they fired me, or in case I wanted to go out on my own one day, I wanted to know how they did it, right? Because I had got accustomed to this luxury and was not going to go back to the old world, right?
You didn't want it to. Yeah.
And so, in 2010, a good friend of mine named Mike Reese gave me some DVDs from a guy named Frank Kern.
Okay.
And Mike is a notoriously cheap real estate agent, and he goes, he's a big famous realtor now, but back then we were all just working, and he goes, I paid $8,000 for these DVDs. And I went, what? Who the hell pays $8,000 for some DVDs, right? But I was so curious when he said that I went and I watched every one of these DVDs, but I didn't just watch them. I did what they taught. They were how to build a website back in, pre-ClickFunnels or phone sites. Like these were like how to upload a PHP WordPress template and all this crap. And I did it. And I wrote this little ebook over the course of a couple of weeks. And I wrote it like this. I didn't even know how to type back then, right? So I wrote this little ebook and everything else. And I started putting it on, Facebook. And I started getting leads from it for my own business. And I was like, wow, there's really something to this. By the time 2011 rolled around, I was running ads on Facebook way before that was a thing. It was the first. I had to have been the first, if not one of the first, like coaches to be like, hey, if you want to get better at doing loans, like fill out the form below and blah, blah, blah. I've been doing that for almost 15 years
and this
now.
This was when this wasn't the golden days of 2002 to 2007, right? This is the market's down. Most mortgage loan officers, they're not making any money. A lot of them are out of the business yet. You're crushing it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, 2008, when people were, jumping out of windows, dude, I was jumping up and down for joy. We had leads coming in.
Yeah.
And so, over the years, just consistently hitting the social media and being an early adapter. I mean, I've had the privilege at this point to work with Frederick Eklund and Josh Flagg from $1 Million Listing. I knew David Goggins and worked with him before he had Instagram. I knew Ed Milet before he had Instagram. Like these are people that I've done things for and worked with over the years that, it's kind of got me a little bit of status at this point. And now I own my own lending company. And then I own my own software company. And then we have a pretty large business association of a lot of small to medium, several large, but not a lot of large, but small to medium sized business owners. And we help them with their marketing and their internal sales and their growth and leadership and culture building and things like that. But really my dancing bear thing for me is I like to make it rain leads. Like once I learned that stuff in 2008 to 2010, I was like, oh man, this is addictive because the more leads I get, there's a saying in sales, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. So I'm like, the more leads I can get, the more opportunities I can get, the more hands I can shake, the more money I can make. So that's basically.
And I feel that I think with the more leads you get, the way I always looked at it, the more leads I had, the more detached I am from each person I talk to, because I've got tons of other opportunity, right? Now, the less leads I have, if I don't have the right skills, it's like you're more attached to the outcome. You're more needy because you got less opportunity, right? Would I be right?
You need the money.
Yeah, you need the money. But if I know I got 50 gazillion other people just waiting next, I'm not as attached, which typically cause the prospects to draw me in more and pull me in more because they feel like, like they're an expert. They're not like so needy. They're not so attached. They're more collective. They're more calm like an expert is, right? So walk us through. So should salespeople, let's say you're a W-2 salesperson, or let's say you're 1099, you're working for a company. A lot of salespeople, as you know, are kind of like, hey, I'm just going to have the company give me leads And sometimes the company's leads, maybe 1 month they're up, the next month they're down. So now the salesperson's kind of twiddling their thumbs, waiting on the leads to come. What would Ryan Stewman do if you're a W-2 rep or a 1099 rep working for a company? What would you do in that situation?
I'd still do my own stuff. You know, in 2011, when I was testing these things, I needed a product to sell.
Yeah.
So I went to work for a Ford dealership. I'm not like into selling cars. I'm not a car salesman, but
Yeah.
I thought, what if I can go somewhere that's well known
Yeah.
at a Ford dealership and I can go work for them and I'll call their leads and stuff. But what if I could do my stuff? Let me test my ability on their audience and with their product.
Yeah.
And man, I went out there and made videos on how cars technology work, put it up on YouTube and all this other stuff and everything else. And dude, I became the #1 sales guy over there too. So if I was working for a company right now, like if it all went out the window and I had to go start somewhere, I would, and they were providing me leads, I would try to get better leads for myself than the company provided me.
Yeah, because the more leads you have, the less desperate you are. Now, when you say leads, would you do more reels? Would you do more ads? What would you do?
Well, first, before you can get into all of that, you got to build a foundation.
Yeah.
99% of people that don't know what I'm about to say, they're like, well, this is what I hear all the time in our sales group. They say, well, my industry is different. You can't do that in my industry. Do you get that sometimes too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
PQ will work for what I sell. I sell
okay.
XYZ widget, and it's so unique. I'm like, I think, do they have problems and or emotional needs? Oh, they do. Does your solution solve this? Oh, it does. Are they human? Oh, it probably works then. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah. And most people, I think they like to believe they're unique. So that creates an excuse of why they can't.
Why they can't succeed.
Right. But most people that don't know what I'm about to say, they think they can't do something because of what I'm about to say. The first thing I would do is I would go to Facebook because, you know, like Instagram's great, LinkedIn's boring. So a lot of people aren't spending their time there. And Instagram's great, but it's more of an influencer type of world. The audience on Facebook is between 40 and 55. That's where most 40 to 55-year-olds go. Most people that can afford to buy something, whether it's a nice car, a house, a life insurance, financial planners, they're in that age range, you know, insurance, those type of things, they're in that age range.
Yeah.
And so what most people do is on Facebook, they have a picture of a baseball team as their profile picture.
Or their cat.
You know, like they've got, a cat. They've got the Texas Rangers logo as their profile picture. And what people, a lot of folks don't understand is that social media should mirror real life. When you shake somebody's hand to do a deal with them, and you're just meeting them, let's say they walk in a dealership, they walk in your office, people want to look at you, they want to know what you look like, and then they want to know your name, and they want to know where you're from, if you're married, what do you do for a living. Like these are your Facebook should be an instant.
They're picking up on social cues from you. It's social dynamics. It's what we call social status, right?
Yep. Right. They from that point, that like your Facebook page should be a snapshot of just those things. One of the common mistake is the bad profile picture, or their background picture on Facebook looks like an advertisement. Like nobody wants to click and meet somebody and immediately be hit with some sort of advertisement, right? And your business page should be that way. But I like to use my personal page. We generate thousands of leads a week for free from my personal page on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you know, here's another mistake people make is you go and you click in their bio and they've got 50 jobs, 20 high schools, and 30 cities that they've listed in. Imagine if you just met me and you're like, where are you from, Ryan? And I'm like, well, I lived in Leonard, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Garland, Texas, Irving, Texas. By the time I got to about the 5th city, you'd be like, this guy's a clown.
You're zoned out. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're like, so what's your website? And I gave you 50, you'd be like, dude, what are you? I'm not going to look through all that. Yeah. And so you keep it to one job, one city, one wife, hopefully, or spouse, and one link in that bio, right? And I call that like the foundation of what you've got to set up so that it makes like the instant connection for somebody. From there, once I've got all that set up, and the beauty of this is none of this costs you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to put a picture of your family. Yeah. And then I learned how to make offers. Okay. And a great book on offers, if you don't know how to make offers, is Alex Hormozy's 100 Million Offers. He's a great author. It's a fun book with cartoons and pictures in it for those of us that need some entertainment. but you've got to learn to make offers. That was how we made money in the mortgage business. That's still how I make money today, is getting a good offer in front of a good prospect that converts to a client, right?
Now I got a question for you, because around Christmas time, you and I believe your COO, Sean, came to us, 7th level, and tell us this idea that you had, because this was like a week before Christmas. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen him on social media, the hardcore closer guy. You guys came to us. Tell us about the idea that you guys kind of floating around Christmas. Let's talk about that for a minute, because then I want to go back into creating that offers and how to do that.
Well, I've worked with a lot of sales trainers like yourself over the years, a whole bunch of them, pretty much all of them.
Okay.
And everybody's kind of the same. They're like this aggressive, super confident, I hate to use this term, but it's almost like bully somebody into making a decision.
Let me ask you a question. And then they start asking the bulldoze everybody over here. Okay.
Yes. And then they make you feel uncomfortable, and it's like, just keep agitating them and make them uncomfortable until they say yes to make you go away.
Sales is a numbers game. Just get thick skin. Just accept the rejection. I'm like, that sounds hard. Oh, gross.
So Sean and I start saying, hey, listen, I'm good at sales, but I'm not a sales trainer. That's not what I do for a living. That's not what we have a few courses on that, but that's not the bulk of what we do. The bulk of what we do is teach people to market, build businesses. And so Sean and I start talking, hey, who's somebody that we can bring in and introduce to our people that can teach them how to sell and in a different way. So it's not the same old stuff that someone's bringing in here. And we made a list of names, and we started looking at each one of them and digging into them. We're like, let's go talk to Jeremy. And Sean knew Chad, one of your guys.
One of the account managers. Yeah.
And he introduced us, and we were like, we want to do an event. We want to bring somebody in who's not only different, but I really liked your style of sales, Jeremy, because it's highly aggressive, but it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it's like passive aggressive, where the prospect doesn't feel like it's aggressive. They actually feel like it's their idea, which actually is the highest form of aggression, but in a way where they never feel like it's aggressive.
I agree. And I bet that leads to a ton of referrals, right? Probably. When you make somebody feel good about doing business with you, they want other people to feel good too. If you bully somebody into doing business with you, then they're not going to want their friends to go through that same experience. Or if you annoy somebody into doing business with you, they're not going to send their friends to go through that same experience. And if they do, they're going to go, I'm going to send you to my friend Jeremy. He's going to be annoying as hell, but he's really good at what he does, right? You don't want that. You don't want that frame when somebody's sending you, because then the person is going, is the annoyance value less than what they're running this algebra in their head of whether it's going to work out.
Most of those people don't even buy. Like it triggers sales resistance. It's high pressure. All you're going to do, the guard goes up, and then you're competing against the wall. So you came to us, you're like, hey, maybe we should do this event together.
And so my pitch was, hey, what if I believe that when you get sales and marketing together, you can write your own paycheck as much as you want, whether you own a business or whether you're a salesperson. If you can master those two skills, a lot of people, they master sales and they're constantly trying to get better at sales, and they never do anything with marketing. Therefore, they never make money. You can be the greatest salesperson in the world, but if you don't got anybody to talk to, you're going to have skinny kids. Meanwhile, you can be a horrible salesperson, but a hell of a marketer, and you're going to get in front of enough people to make good money. That's just the facts, right?
You can most people of those. You're up here.
Exactly. So I said, hey, let's do an event where we teach people how to get leads. You teach them how to have powerful conversations that are different than all the other guys out there. Let's empower some people together. Let's put on a 2-day event. And we work the schematics out behind it, and poof, next week that thing's becoming a reality.
Here we are. So type in me if you want to know details of a very unique 2-day event that I am doing along with Ryan at Ryan's facility at your event there in Dallas, Texas. In the comments, type in me if you want to know some details about what Ryan and I are actually going to train you, because Ryan's 100% correct. You start to learn marketing and you start to know how to talk to those leads. If you're a business owner, it's like impossible to fail. Like if you are extremely good at marketing, you learn how to market, and you're extremely good at sales, You can have crappy operations, you can have a lot of crappy stuff, but you're still going to do really well because those are the lifeblood of the business. I know that when I started 7th Level, God, it was like 2018 with my assistant from my job. Like literally, it's me and Beths, there's me, hey, Beth, right? I didn't know how to market at all. So for the business, the first year and a half, it didn't go anywhere. And everybody that got into the training, the few people here and there, like, this is the best sales training I've ever had. I had hundreds of testimonials from pretty much a few hundred clients. And then we started learning how to market, and we started, bringing marketing in and started learning. And all of a sudden, bam, we just shot up like freaking like this. So I think even Cardone says you can have the greatest product or service in the world, but if nobody knows anything about it, if nobody knows who the hell you are, it ain't going anywhere. Right. Yeah. But on the flip side, if you're great at marketing, you can have an average product and you're still going to be successful. Right. So type in me if you want to learn details. We're going to have our team drop you a link to this event. It's called Convergence. It's marketing and sales coming together. It's next Friday. So write this down on your calendar. It's actually next Friday in Dallas, Texas at Ryan Studios. I think your event center holds like 200 some people, right?
Yeah, close to 300. Yep.
Yeah, close to 300.
And by the way, a lot of those spots are filled. Just so, like, if you're really interested, like, you need to get in quick because this is the first time Jeremy's made it public. But my team and I have been filling seats for a couple of months now. So
I want to say it's like 80, 85, 87% filled. So it'll be gone here, maybe even after this live. So it's next Friday and Saturday, April 5th and April 6th. We start at what time in the morning? About 8:30 in the morning, 8:39 in the morning. We're going to go all the way. We say 5:30, but if you've ever come to one of our live events, you typically know it can kind of go a lot later because I just like training you guys how to sell more. And I'm pretty sure Ryan likes to train you how to market more to get better leads. So if you're a salesperson, if you're a coach, if you're a sales manager, if you're a sales executive, if you're a consultant who wants more clients, maybe if you're a plumber and you want to bring in more business, or an attorney, or home services, solar, life insurance, SaaS, B2B, B2C, door to door, we are going to train you how to generate your own leads and then how to actually sell to those leads. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the people who go to that event are probably going to walk out of that event knowing how to generate more leads and actually sell more. I highly doubt they're going to generate less leads and sell less after we train them for 2 days. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and a big bonus on that, guys, is becoming a market influencer. Not an influencer like an Instagram influencer, but the more you get in front of people, there's a company here in Dallas called Milestone Electric. Yeah. Electrical is not a sexy business. It's a blue-collar business, but I guarantee you anybody with a TV in Dallas knows who Milestone Electric is. They're the industry influencer here in DFW because they market so much. So, a lot of people, they say, oh, we got to outsell our competition. No. You need to out-market your competition, and then you become, because all we're really trying to do as salespeople, business owners, and marketers is be the top of mind when somebody needs our product. Somebody needs a car, they think of Park Cities Ford. Somebody needs a mortgage, they think of TexasLending.com. Somebody needs electrical, they think of Milestone Electric. That's our job. And then we've got influence, because even if we don't win the deal, which you will with Jeremy's training, obviously, on sales, but even if we don't win the deal, we get first dibs at it because we're the top of mind to them. And whether you own a business or you're a salesperson, that's what you want. You want them to think of you first, right? Like somebody goes on Facebook and they're like, hey, who do you know that does roofing? And then 2 or 3 of their friends, they've been seeing ads from Three Kings Roofing. So they're like, hey, check out Three Kings Roofing, Three Kings Roofing. Like, those are referrals. And by the way, I read a statistic the other day that 78% of people buy from that exact formula. Like 78% of all purchases start with a referral on social media these days. That's an alarm. I read that in Forbes. That's an alarming number. But wouldn't you want to be that person? The way that you get to be that company or that person is by marketing. So not only will you leave here with a sales plan to talk to these leads and the plan to get these leads, but once you put the two into action over a period of time, then you become the industry influencer, forcing the other people, whether they're sales or business owners around you, to have to try to compete to get to your level. And man, that is a very powerful position to hold in any marketplace, in any industry.
Well, you just dominate. I mean, yeah, I was like, back at my sales career, I made a lot of money as a salesperson. I'm like, man, if I would have added in just generating extra leads, shit, no telling what could have happened. All right. So day number one, let's kind of run through what we're going to cover. So day number one, I'm going to start off and I'm going to talk about the biggest problem in sales is the problem that you don't know you have. And I'm going to talk about different things that you're saying and asking right now that you've been trained. It's not your fault. You're trained that way, but it is your what? What is your problem? And ain't nobody going to come and save you unless you want to learn how to do that. So I'm going to show you certain words you're using and questions you're asking that you think are building rapport, which are actually lowering your status in the prospect's mind, where they just view you as just another salesperson trying to stuff your solution down their throat. So I'm going to show you what words that you're using right now that are doing that. And then I'm going to show you tweaks and how to change those words and what questions actually change. So we're going to start right there. Now, Ryan, you're up next. You're going to talk, what are you going over next for the next hour?
So I'm going to teach what I call the attractive character. You know, like, would you rather buy from a salesperson that smells like coffee, has a coffee stain on their shirt, and they're all wrinkled and everything else? Or would you rather buy from somebody who it has fresh breath, they're clean, their shirt's pressed, they look good? If you put two side by side, same exact skills, same exact product, everybody's going to go with the cleaner, better looking version. That same thing starts online. That first impression, 78% of people buy from referrals online. That first impression happens just like that on social media. Someone goes, oh, that seems smart. Then they click on your profile. Profile looks like horrible, right? Then they go, oh, they click on your profile and it's a bunch of rants about politics and a bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean? That they're like, oh, I don't even want to get involved with that, right? So I'm going to teach you how to become an attractive character that when people do refer you and they click the link and they look at you, they're like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. She seems like a nice lady.
They look like an expert, right? Yeah, I always
marketing attracts and repels, right? You want it to attract the right people, repel the wrong people.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, like if I'm a sales trainer, so why do I do a lot of our virtual events and lives from this office? And why do I have about 700? I've got about 3,500 books. A lot of them are sales persuasion, right? And influence. So why do I have about 700 behind me? Because when people see that, that implies what? That I might be an expert. I might have knowledge that they have not attained yet. That might be a good thing, right? It's the same thing. I look at the behind you. You've got a ton of books.
I've got books too.
Ryan looks like he might be an expert in marketing. And holy cow, there might be something to that, right? So there's some different things that we're going to train you, especially if you sell virtually, even if you sell in person, even on the phone, if they can't see you. Okay, especially how to use your tonality that cause the prospect to view you at a higher status than themselves. That's called situational status. It's something I learned in social dynamics. Ryan knows it from marketing as well. It's a lot of marketing and sales are the same when you really kind of uncover everything. Like you're building higher status instead of low status, right? A bunch of stuff. Now, next thing we're going to cover. One of the probably most important things that you'll need to learn as an entrepreneur or any type of salesperson selling anything is how do you get your prospects to let their guard down where they actually emotionally open up? So I want you to type in me if you ask questions and you feel like they're good questions, your company's giving you a good script, or you read some questions from some sales guru from a book, you ask the questions, they sound good, but most of your prospects, they give you like vague, generalized, just surface level answers. Type in me if that happens to you. Well, I'm going to show you why that's happening to you. I'm not just going to show you what to do to prevent it. I'm going to explain why that's going on. And I'm going to help you tweak your questions for your industry. We train all industries now. We train 160. According to Forbes magazine, there's only 163 industries. That's crazy. There's subsets of each one. Like if you're in home improvement, you might sell garages or doors or windows or siding or awnings or freaking carpet or, whatever. There's, HVAC, there's a ton, roofing, different things like that. And we're in all of those now. So we have scripts for pretty much every industry out there from companies and or individual salespeople. So I'm going to show you how to tweak your questions that you're asking, even in the first 10 seconds to a minute. It could be a cold call, could be an outbound lead you're calling that responded to an ad, could be an inbound lead you're meeting on Zoom or in person in a home, or at a company, and I'm going to show you certain things to do with your tonality and questions to ask to immediately get the prospect to let their guard down. How many more sales would you make than you are right now if you learned just that one thing from this event? If you just walked away and only learned how to get your prospects to let their guard down instead of staying surface level, how many more sales do you feel like you could make? What'd you think about that for a second? All right, Ryan, off to you. Then I'm turning it over to you for what?
How to create an offer.
Let's
And
talk about
I've
that.
got, just like you have scripts, I have templates for creating offers.
Yeah.
And like one of my favorite is like how to get X without doing Y. And X represents, like, it's like offer algebra. X represents what they want. Y represents what they don't want, right? So let's say you're selling gym memberships, how to get 6-pack abs without dieting or going to exercising an hour a day. You know, that's like the 4-hour work week, how to become a millionaire working 4 hours a week, right? And so
How to make
when
more
you can,
sales without playing the numbers game.
exactly,
There you go. I'm learning.
right? So once you start putting offers together, I have these different algebraic equations of how those work with templates to where it can fit you, because you know the offer is where it all starts. The offer draws them in, the digital handshake gets them, Jeremy's sales process closes them, right? That is the full circle of sales life over here.
Now, what happens if you don't learn how to create offers?
Then it's kind of like what you were saying. You're going to get a lot of resistance because you're going to stay at the surface level. Hey, do you want insurance? Right? Like, come get insurance from me. Hey, do you want to buy insurance? Like, no, nobody rolls over in the middle of the night, looks at their significant other and goes, we need more insurance.
We need more policy. Yeah, we
need a better policy.
Nobody thinks they're going to die, right?
Yeah, we need the rider that they, we need XYZ rider. That's not what happens. You have to get below that. Like I realized when I sold mortgages, nobody wanted a mortgage. Nobody wanted 30-year debt to a bank. Zero people on this planet wake up or go to sleep and go, dude, if I could only get 6% interest rate for 30 years, I'd be in good. Like, that's not what it works. They want a house.
Yeah.
They want a house.
Yeah.
And if I could take the mortgage out of that offer and help them, hey, would you like to get in a house with the cheapest payments available to you? Would you like to buy your dream home with the least amount of expenses possible? That's the offer that they want, right? It has nothing to do with the 6% interest rate.
You're not selling the thing. You're selling the result of what the thing does. Like, you're not selling them a mortgage. You're selling them the dream house they want to get in. You might be selling them, moving into a safer neighborhood because the neighborhood they're coming from's got a bunch of gang violence. You could be selling them higher status because now they're making more money. They've got their own business and they want to impress everybody from high school. I mean, that's what you're selling, the results of what the house does, the mortgage does.
Or they're having another kid and they need a bigger house. Their kids moved away and they need to downsize. Like, there's a litany of reasons. Yeah. And so you make offers to attract the right person using these reasons, right? Most people think, oh, well, I offered to do a mortgage for them. It's like, yeah, but they don't want a mortgage. A mortgage is the bridge that they've got to cross to get what they do want,
Yeah, 100%.
They damn sure don't want an interest rate. I used to watch, Jeremy, I used to watch loan officers. This is why I crushed them. I used to watch them explain to their clients how the bond market worked with mortgage-backed securities. And by the time these people got off the phone, they're over here trying to do these mathematical equations of how they could get the lowest rate at the lowest time based on
now they're shopping.
Now they got the phone, they're day traders. You know what I mean? So,
now they're shopping around and they just commoditize the guy that was selling mortgages. Yeah, then we're going to get into high-level B2B enterprise. So if you're B2B, I know your spouse is going to be up there. She specializes in B2B. I think I'm going to join her. We're going to talk about how do you get through gatekeepers? How do you navigate through an enterprise level company to not only get all the decision makers involved, but also the people who influence those decision makers. One thing that I learned going from B2C over to high level B2B early in my career, because those two different ball games. I'm selling to a husband and wife on the doorsteps, alarm systems in college. Now I'm selling to like freaking Fortune 1000 CFOs, whole different ball game. But I had to learn not just how to get the CFO and everybody around him that would decide on board. I had to learn how to get the people who influenced him on board. They couldn't make the decision, but they could definitely influence. And they might be motivated for different reasons. They might look at me as a threat because maybe I'm coming in And let's say if I sold cybersecurity and it's the head of their IT department, they might not be able to make the decision to write the check or send the funds, but they can influence that CEO because maybe they feel like you're a threat and now you're going to replace them. Or maybe they feel like the CEO is going to look down at them because they didn't get the job done. They have to bring an outside vendor in. So they might, even though it solves their problems, they might try to influence the decision makers not to go. So how do you influence the influencers? Would I be right?
Yep.
All right, then we're going to talk about building the gap. So how do we take a prospect from what we call their current state, where they are now, to where they want to be? We call that their objective state. We're going to focus on that. And then you're going to talk about, we're going to talk about that. I think that's the end of day number 1. What did we cover at day number 2? Let's start at day number 2 here.
The day number 2, I'm going to start teaching what I call a lead magnet. This is once you have your profile set up and you understand how to make offers, then you need to get those offers out in front of as many people as possible. And I call that a lead magnet, right? Like something that attracts your prospects to want to become a lead. When I sat down at the mortgage company years ago that generated leads, they had lead magnets everywhere: SEO, TV, mailer, radio, all this stuff. And, you know, when you can use a company like Phone Sites, a software company, to be able to generate leads and put your lead out there automatic, then use a company like Google, YouTube, Facebook to be able to put that in front of a bunch of people, whether it's through paid advertising or organically, then all of a sudden you're attracting leads on a daily basis. What would it mean to you guys if you got an extra 1 to 5 leads a day? Just 1 to 5 leads. If you own a business, what about 1 to 5 leads per salesperson that you have? But if you're a salesperson, W-2, 1099, and maybe you knock doors right now, maybe you cold call. What if you had 5 people reaching out to you every single day that were interested? They may not be 100% ready to buy, and they may not be like, oh, just take my money. But what if you had 5 people that said, hey, I'm interested in what you sell. Tell me more about it. Then you can use Jeremy's sales training techniques to get to those subsurface level needs that they have and then close them. So that's going
to be a big one. Lead magnet funnels. We, at 7th level, we got pretty good at lead magnet funnels. We call it self-liquidating offers. We have like 6 of those. They're always coming out new ones all the time.
I see your ads.
Yeah, you see the ads, right? So we had the NEPQ Black Book of Questions, the first version. Now we have the second version. I doubled the content, made it a bunch of industry-specific stuff, and now it gets mailed out as a physical version rather than just going in the email. I think the first day, I think there was like 4,000 people that bought that thing the first day we launched an ad on it. Okay, now we're going to talk about, next I'm going to get into advanced future pacing, because not only do I have to help them find problems they didn't realize they have, but that's just half the equation. I also got them to get that prospect to see what the future looks like once the newfound problems are solved. Okay, what does their future look like? So I'm going to show you some industry-specific examples for your industry to get them in that mind of what is how does it feel once these newfound problems are solved? Because if they can feel that, that's where they make the decision. See, every decision you make as a human being starts with your emotional side of the brain. When I say that, people are like, no, it's you don't understand. My prospects are all logical. I'm like, well, scientifically, if they're human, it actually is not that way. Every decision starts with, I feel like drinking this water because I'm thirsty. See, I feel like drinking this water, and then I justify with logic because I'm thirsty. I feel like writing down this phone number because I want to call them later. I feel like talking with Ryan on this interview because we're doing an event together. See, every decision you make as a human being starts with your emotional side of your brain, okay? So I'm going to show you how to trigger certain emotional drivers in every prospect you talk to help them relive their pain of their situation and have a fear of continued future pain that drives the need for them to change, builds massive urgency. Now, this event somebody just posted in here. This is in Dallas, Texas at Ryan's Event Center. This is next Friday and Saturday, April 5th and April 6th. Now, you're going to talk about content syndication. I'd love to know about that.
Hey, real quick, everybody, we've got, I think, 3 spots left for the VIP portion. We only took, 12, Jeremy, VIPs or something like that? It's a very low number. And the Friday night, we're actually going to dinner at the Cowboy Club, which is Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' private club Like no videos allowed, no photos allowed. It is a super high-end place that you have to be a member of. I'm a member. I'm one of the founding members. And so
I like
not
that.
only you're going to get some extra time with Jeremy and I at lunch, you're going to be able to go to this exclusive place that you could never step foot in without somebody like me in your corner. And I'm telling you, you've never seen a place like this before. Like, if you don't know anything about even if you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but you like football, right, you're going to walk into this place and go, holy cow, like I've never seen anything like this
Dude,
before. Like Jerry Jones,
I'd be
everything.
enrolling for this event just to come. I mean, let alone the marketing and sales. I just want to go to the Cowboys facility because I see it online all the time.
Dude,
All right.
it's unreal. So I'm going to be teaching content syndication after that. So it's not just Facebook. It's not just Instagram. It's YouTube. It's LinkedIn. Like, you need to be everywhere. When we started this, Jeremy said, we're live on my Facebook page, our business Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. Like, we're live everywhere right now. That's content syndication. And then also, how do you get people like if you're a roofer, and so who else is common with roofers, right? So plumbers, they go and get on the roof when they've got to snake things, right? And gutter guys are on the roof, and siding guys are on the roof. So if I'm a roofer and I've got an offer, then why wouldn't I get the gutter guy to share it and the siding guy to share it and across all their social media? And then I return that favor for them. I call that the content syndicate. Like, if I'm a loan officer, then I want my title company to share. I want my real estate agent to share. I want my appraiser to share. And that way I can get my offer out organically through multiple people that are also referrals, which will lead more. And so I'll teach you how to make offers to referral partners to join your syndicate so that you can help each other generate
I love
leads
that.
for
Let's
each
say
other
if you
as well.
sold life insurance, how do you get the health insurance broker? How do you get the car insurance? You know, it's all there. I love that. That's an amazing. I'm ready to learn that. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the power of consequence questions. I'm going to give you industry specific examples for the industries in the audience and show you how to get the prospect to basically defend themselves on why they feel like they need to change their situation. Now, notice I'm not telling them why they need to change, because that's just going to go in one ear and out the other. I'm going to show you how to get them to tell me and themselves why they feel like they need to change their situation. Which is more persuasive at the end of the day? I think we all know the answer. Now, Ryan, you're up next. You're going to talk about the CRM setup for FU money.
Yeah, follow up. That stands for follow up money, but it can stand for whatever you want.
Okay, I'm like, whoa, I saw that's good.
People tend to overcomplicate CRMs, and most people, most business owners, most salesmen, they don't use them the way that they should. You're whether you're in management or whether you're an owner of a company or whether you're a salesperson, your CRM should be your boss. It should be telling you who to call at what time and what to follow up with them about, and how you need to follow up with them. Like that, you should go in as a salesperson. You have leads coming in. You know how to talk to them. That CRM should be your manager all day long. It should be telling you, call Jeremy at 11:15, call Ryan at 12:30. You know, hey, have a talk with John about the follow-up process from 3 days ago. And if you learn how to do that correctly, you can literally go into a job brainless. And what I mean is, like, you don't have to go, okay, all right, so many people waste time and don't make the money they're supposed to because they're not detailed in their CRM. The CRM should be your boss looking over your shoulder, telling you what to do. So, and also at the end of the day, when you leave and you put in an 8 or 10 hour day in the workforce, however long it is that you work, it's nice to look back and be like, oh, here are all the people I talked to and what I talked to them about. So you feel like you actually accomplished something, even if you didn't make a sale that day.
Yeah, it's really, you know, what I describe that as you learn how to start playing chess, whereas all the other salespeople are still playing checkers. And part of it is not just your marketing skills, not just your sales skills, but it's all these little things, like even your CRM management. It's about how you actually plan out your day. I mean, if I showed you guys back in my career how I planned out my day, I was always freaking focused on income producing activities. And I don't really work 8 to 9 hours a day. And other people be like, oh, I work so much. I work 12 hours a day. I'm like, no, you don't. You take a 2-hour lunch break, you twiddle and twaddle around Facebook for an hour, then you call your girlfriend for an hour, and then you take a 30-minute nap. You're working like 6 hours a day. Like I'm working 8 to 9 straight. Like I'm focused on income producing activities all the time. I was playing chess while everybody was still playing checkers. So we're going to teach you how to do that. Then we're going to go over how do you get your prospects to close themselves? When do they make the buying decision? Is it when you ask, do you want the red one or the blue one? Is that when they decide, like an option close? No, they said, I want the red one. That means they already decided before that they wanted the red one. It's not like they just magically decided when you use that option close or, just give it a try close. So I'm going to show you how to get them to commit and take the next step to purchase what you're offering. All right. Then we're going to go over objection handling. So you're going to bring us the top objections you get. We're going to show you how to help the prospect overcome them, but I'm also going to show you techniques that actually prevent those objections from even happening in the prospect's mind. That is called objection prevention. So if you want to be a top 1% salesperson, if you're a business owner and you want to scale 3-4 times what you are now, you're going to have to learn how to prevent a lot of the objections you lose deals from right now. It's so much easier to sell if you just prevent the objection from even getting in their mind. Objections are always caused by you, the salesperson. It's caused by your lack of sales ability yet. You haven't learned yet. That can change. We all learn these things. But it's because you trigger uncertainty in the prospect's brain, which leads to the objections. We're going to show you how to trigger certainty, so much certainty that they just view you as the expert, that they can get them the best result. All right, once again, and then we're going to...
Wouldn't you say, Jeremy, that most salespeople actually plant the objections in the minds of prospects? They're like, they don't even realize they're their own worst. Like they said that because you told them to say that. You've already set them up to tell you, to say they weren't thinking that or going to say that, and you made them do that. You just got in your own way. I think that happens a lot to a lot of salespeople.
Yeah, it's so true. I'll give you an example. I still remember to this day, I did a live on it like 6 months ago. Things are like riding a bike for me sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I remember when that happened. So I remember going to a boardroom. This was when I was selling B2B enterprise. And I remember I'd met with 2 of their executives, and they brought me in the boardroom to give the pitch, right? This is like the 6th meeting, like 3 months later. They're all board of directors there. So it was like 10 of them. 2 of them knew anything about it. They were on board, but the other 8 were like complete strangers with me. And I remember I walked in, you know how CEOs they come in there and they're like, hey, we don't have much time. I've got maybe, an hour. Can you just go through your presentation, leave some information when we tell you if we're interested? Well, if I am a salesperson, and I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll go ahead and get into it. So grateful to be here. I just did what? Lowered my status. Now I view their status, that CEO status and the board status, a much higher status than me. So if I viewed them at a higher status, they're going to view me at a lower status. So I had to flip that frame. And I just sat there. I'm like, oh gosh, you must have a lot of time on your hands. I've got maybe 30 minutes before my next appointment with XYZ company. Should we get started? And their whole demeanor was like, yeah. And they just you could see the frame shift. And I still remember from that day, there was this lady, I went through 10 or 11 slides. I was on the last slide going through some numbers, and she kind of looked up and she went like this with this grimace on her face. Now I'm like, okay, she either doesn't understand what I just went over. So I've triggered uncertainty. She's a decision maker. Okay. Am I going to take the chance of leaving this boardroom and then she starts planting a seed in everybody else's mind why they shouldn't buy? Does she have an objection? Like, what's going on? She went like this. She's like she didn't understand something. So I just stopped and I'm like, hey, Gretchen. That's her name. She said, hey, Gretchen. Hey, I noticed when I went through that last slide, you seemed a bit hesitant. What's behind that? Just so I understand. And she's like, well, I really like what you just had to say, but I'm not sure how it would work with. And then I found out the concern. And then guess what? I was there to help prevent that from happening when I left. See, I got that resolved before I left, because if I had left and they had that objection, I'm dead. So we're going to show you how to prevent objections from even happening. Okay, once again, let's drop the link, Ryan. I've got to get off here in a couple minutes. I know you got a meeting. It's getting late where you're at there in Dallas, Texas. The event will be next Friday and Saturday, beautiful Dallas, Texas, at Mr. Stewman's offices there. They hold about 300 of you. How many tickets do we even have left? Because I know we were like 87, 88% sold out before I even did this live.
I'm not sure the exact number. That's kind of Sean's era, but we don't have a whole lot left. We've been selling this for a couple months. So, and my team's been on the phones pretty heavy behind this because they're excited to come learn for you too. My team learners are earners, bro, and they always want to get better. So they're like, hey, we got to make Jeremy happy by getting all these people in here so that we can come and sit down and learn from them too. So.
Let's do that. I know there's a virtual version. I would be in person. Like, look, if
I would recommend being in person too.
You're just going to learn more if you're in person. There is a virtual, like if you've broken both legs and your doctor said, if you get on a plane, you're going to have a blood clot and you're going to pass away and you cannot take a bus, a train, or an automobile, then we have a virtual option just for you. But that is the only way you should be up there on virtual. If you cannot move, you're bedfast, you can't move, you're paralyzed, then you get on that virtual. If you're not any of those, get there, get on a plane. I can assure you, we did an event here that we announced like 3 weeks before. We had people flying from like Australia and freaking New Zealand 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Can you imagine being in like, Phoenix or Salt Lake or New York or Florida, be like, Dallas is too far away. Oh, it's a 2-hour flight. So you can learn
how to 2-hour flight. I don't know how I'm going to make it.
I don't know how I'm going to make it. So get there, Ryan. I'm excited, man. Really excited.
But the people in the room, it's not just Jeremy and I either. I know a lot of the people that are attending, like there's great people that you can make. Imagine I'm teaching the content syndication and you look to your right and you look to your left and you're like, these dudes are perfect for that. And they get the concept while we're in the room together. We should be doing this together. Like, just think of the power in that. The power of, like, maybe you're a real estate agent and there's loan officers in the room and you can trade business back and forth, or there's PNC insurance agents in the room and they can, and you're a roofer, like all the different people that are good. These people are wanting to become better. They're wanting to make more money. They're wanting to get better at sales. They're wanting to get more clients. Don't you think you should rub elbows with, even if you didn't learn anything from Jeremy and I, which would be impossible, you'd have to sleep the whole time. But don't just being in the room with those people and making those connections could change the game for somebody too.
Every event that I've gone to forever, I've always walked out of there making more because of the connections I made. Had I not gone to certain events, there were certain marketers we met that we learned from that help us scale our business just because they're at the event, and then we hired them for consulting, and boom, had we not gone to the freaking events because we were just like, I'd rather just watch TV on Friday, we just wouldn't be where we're at. So if you want to learn how to market more, get more leads, and you want to sell more of your products, services, your thing, you might want to show up to this event. I highly doubt you're going to walk away from the 2-day event marketing less and selling less. It's going to be pretty hard for you not to sell more and be much better at marketing by the time you get out of the 2-day. Ryan, we'll see you here in about a week and a half. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'll see you Wednesday night or Thursday night. Which night are you coming in?
I'm coming in Wednesday. I'll see you Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday. See you then.
See you Wednesday afternoon. We dropped the link about 150 times. We love you guys. Get there to the event if you want to sell and market more. Ryan, see you in a week. Talk to everybody soon. Thanks for being on, everybody.